Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to Art Class with Mr. Mazer. This week, we're going to read the story Suzette and the Puppy, a story about Mary Cassatt. And we are going to be drawing this adorable little puppy. So this is a true story about the artist, Mary Cassatt, and why she painted this portrait of this little girl and her dog. So let's find out. No matter how cold the weather in Paris, Suzette's nursemaid, Marie, believed in daily outings in the fresh air. That's how they first happened to meet Nipper. One wintry day, they were hurrying through the park, all bundled up, when they saw a tall lady coming from the other direction. As they passed, a shaggy little head popped out of the lady's blue velvet muff. Suzette squealed with delight. It was the tiniest dog she had ever seen. The lady stopped and bent low so the little girl and her nanny could see the dog better. "This is my new puppy, Nipper," she told them. "Isn't he sweet?" The little dog cocked his head to the side, raised one ear, and glanced up at the sound of his name. Suzette was captivated, but Marie was telling her to say au revoir. As she reluctantly followed her nursemaid home, Suzette hoped Nipper would be in the park the next day. Yet it was some months before they saw Nipper again. One afternoon, after a spring shower, Suzette and Marie noticed a strange sight on the path. A doll-sized yellow slicker seemed to be marching through the mist. They soon realized it was the puppy, dressed for the rain. "All he needs is an umbrella," said Marie, laughing. They watched him splash through a puddle in his miniature boots, tugging on the leash his tall mistress held. "Isn't Nipper's rain costume splendid?" she asked. They giggled at the words. As the days warmed and nature burst into bloom, Suzette and Marie frequently met the other nursemaids and their small charges in the park. To everyone's delight, a handsome policeman was often there too. The children shrieked with laughter at puppet shows in the shade of the trees and played hide and seek among the daffodils. They loved to sail their toy boats on the circular pond. But their greatest pleasure came from seeing the tall lady and her little dog. Nipper would bark wildly when a gust of wind sent the sails flying. Then he would dash along shore with the tall lady racing behind. "Allure," the policeman would say, laughing. "We should arrest that little fellow for disturbing the peace." Each noon when the church bells rang, Marie spread a coverlet on the grass. Then she and Suzette shared a basket of croissants, cheese, and fruit. After that, Suzette was expected to nap. But the day Nipper created the greatest excitement, there was no napping for anyone. It all began when someone tossed a rubber ball into the pond. Nipper's ears stood at attention as he watched it splash among the boats and bob to the surface. "Nipper, s'il vous plaît," the lady scolded, gripping his leash. His tiny tail twirled. Then it happened. Nipper broke away, took a headlong leap, and dove into the pond after the ball. "Nipper!" the lady shrieked. "Mon Dieu, good gracious!" In her excitement, she mixed her French with her English. Nipper appeared to sink to the bottom. All around there were cries of alarm. "Save him, monsieur," Suzette sobbed to the policeman. "He will surely drown." Marie held her back. "Nonsense, the pup can swim like a fish," she told her. "Every dog can." It was true. Nipper had surfaced and was calmly paddling toward the ball, but the policeman had already stripped off his cape and boots. "Fear not," he shouted. "I will rescue him." At that, he held his nose and jumped into the pond with a huge splash, only to hit the bottom with a thud, for the water was only knee-deep. By then, Nipper was heading toward shore. The policeman sloshed after him, pushing fish and toy boats aside. He had nearly caught up with the swimming pup when he stumbled backward, flapping his arms wildly, and plunged into the pond with the greatest splash of all. Catastrophe! Disaster! All those nearby were hit by the deluge. Meanwhile, Nipper scrambled onto the bank. He shook himself from head to toe, thoroughly soaking everyone again. "Nipper, you little devil," sputtered the tall lady. "If I didn't love you so, I would have you arrested for disturbing the peace." That afternoon, everyone used Marie's coverlet for a towel. With a smile, the nursemaid told the tall lady, too bad he wasn't wearing his rain costume. The lady agreed. Too bad we weren't all wearing rain costumes. The bedraggled policeman was wringing out his socks. "Merci beaucoup, Nipper," he said. "I haven't had such a refreshing bath in years." The tall lady scooped up her little dog tenderly. Wet as they both were, they exchanged even wetter kisses. That evening at supper, Suzette, now crisp and fresh, was eager to tell about the day's events. But her parents had far more exciting news to report. The following day, they told her, a dear friend of Uncle Edgar's was coming to start painting her portrait. Suzette blushed with pleasure, ever so surprised. But not nearly as surprised as she was the next morning, because who should arrive at the door carrying a sketchbook and pastels? None other than the tall lady from the park, and with her was Nipper. "I've hoped to do your portrait ever since I saw you last winter," the artist explained. "I'm truly honored," Suzette declared, just as Mama and Papa had told her to say. Then she begged, "But please, can Nipper be in the picture too?" That was the beginning of what became a beautiful painting. It's called Little Girl in a Blue Armchair and now hangs in a famous American museum. Perhaps you wonder why the little girl and the tiny dog look so bored. Clearly, they would much rather be playing in the park. Little Girl in a Blue Armchair is the beautiful Mary Cassatt painting featuring Suzette and Nipper. In this study, they really do seem to wish for another adventure in the park, rather than posing for a portrait. So, this week we're going to be drawing a cute little dog that looks just like Nipper. And the reason I love it so much is because here's a picture of my dog. Her name is Naomi. And I think she looks a lot like Nipper. So we're going to draw that little dog today. So you're going to need a paper, a pencil to draw with, and something to color with. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the little doggy's nose. So I'm going to go to the center of my paper, move a little bit over towards the left, and I'm just going to draw a tiny little V shape, just like that. Now from there, I'm going to close that off. So it's like kind of like an upside down triangle. That's going to be our little dog's nose. Now, right over next to that, I'm going to draw an oval for an eye. And on the other side, I'm going to draw his other eye, same shape, another oval. Now, I'm going to do a little circle inside there for the light hitting. And then I'm going to darken the rest. I would suggest don't do this with pencil because you don't want the eyes to be gray. You want them to be probably black. Most dogs have black eyes. Now, from there, we're going to do the mouth. So we're going to go under the nose, and we're going to make a little upside down V. Now, it may look like our dog's frowning, but he's not. He's actually happy. He's got his tongue out, and he's going to be smiling. So we're going to do a little half circle here for the tongue, and a little line down the middle of the tongue there. And then we're going to curve up to make the rest of our little doggy's mouth, just like that. Now, from here, we're going to make his little face, his beard, and just like the dog in the story, we've got a little fur hanging down. So under here, we're going to do another kind of a V shape. And we're going to do some kind of zigzaggy lines going up from here. So I'm going to go down and up And then I'm gonna make kind of like a little A from here. And then I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go up and another little A. And I'm gonna curve that kind of back in, pointed towards the eye. And I'm gonna do that same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna go down and curve up. And I'm gonna make another little A shape and curve up. And then another tiny little A shape. And then I'm gonna curve it back towards the eye. So now he's got a little beard on our little doggy. So next I am going to do the top of his head. So I'm gonna go a little bit above here. And I'm gonna draw a curved line like this. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, a little curved line, leave a little gap in there. And I'm gonna draw two more of those little kind of A shapes. I'm gonna do a big one and a little one. And I'm gonna do it on this side too. So kind of like an A or zigzaggy line. Make our dog real fluffy. And I'm gonna go right above that. So I'm gonna go right above here, right in the middle. I'm gonna make a tiny little dot. That's gonna be the top of his head. And we're gonna go around these to make even more hair. So I'm gonna go a little bit past it. I'll do that on the other side too. And then we're gonna make another little kind of zigzaggy line, make him look real shaggy. So I'm gonna do some more of those zigzag lines. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit past the mouth and back like that. And I'm gonna do the same thing over on this side. So a little curve, and then a zigzaggy line. And then bring a long one down and curve it back. Now, from here, we're gonna draw his little ears. You remember Nipper had those pointy ears. So right over here, I'm gonna draw a little triangle. And then I'm gonna trace around it. And there's one ear. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So a little triangle, trace around it. Now Nipper's got two ears. Now the next thing I'm gonna do from these two little lines in here, I'm gonna make Nipper's leash. So, there's collar, excuse me, where the leash hooks in. So I'm gonna draw a little curved line coming down. And then we're gonna make a little tag here. So it's gonna be a little circle. And that will have Nipper's, I'm gonna close that off there. So you can see it. So that's gonna be Nipper's little tag for his name. So from here, we're gonna start making our little dog's body. So we're gonna come to the side here, and I'm gonna do 3 of those zigzags. So I'm gonna go out and in, down, in, and another one, just like that. Now I'm gonna make one leg, so I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna make kind of a little line that looks like an L. So I'm gonna go down and over like that. Now I'm gonna make his other leg that's gonna be kind of behind him, so we're only gonna see a little bit of it. So I'm gonna start over here and do another little L line. And then I'm gonna bring it up, but he's gonna have a little shaggy hair on the back of his leg, so I'm gonna do another little zigzag there. And on this leg, I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit, and we'll finish off the rest of his body in a sec down here. So I'm gonna go up here and do his back. So I'm gonna go about to where his mouth is, maybe a little bit higher. I'm gonna make a nice little curved line that comes out. Now we're gonna make our dog's funky little tail. So I'm gonna do a straight line that comes up. And then I'm gonna zigzag it down. So I'm gonna go do another little 3-part zigzag. and bring it back to his body there. Now, when I do these legs, I want to make sure that I keep them even with the front legs. So I want to make sure I don't draw the line past here. So I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do another little zigzag. So he's got a furry little back. And then I'm going to stop when I'm even to that bottom leg. And then just like we did these, I'm going to make a straight line, and I'm going to connect it. And then I'm going to start and do another line. So I'm going to come and connect these two. I'm going to do another little zigzag. So I'm going to do it. Now his hair would be pretty uneven at the bottom, so I'm going to do it kind of uneven and all the way across, just like that. And just like we did here, we're going to have another little leg kind of peeking out the back. So I'm going to do an L and then connect it. And I think that just about finishes our cute little dog Nipper. So if you want to keep him like the dog in the story, you could color him brown and black. If you know a dog that looks kind of like this and you want to color it a different way, you could do that. It's totally up to you how you color your little pup. I think he looks adorable, just like my little dog Naomi. So I hope you had fun drawing that dog, and we'll see you next time.